I came home after an 18-hour shift and found my daughter not breathing. When I confronted my mother, she said she gave her pills to shut her up. My sister laughed and said, "Maybe we'll finally have some peace if she doesn't wake up." I called 911 immediately. What the toxicology report revealed left me speechless. Before we dive in, I need to be real with you for a second. If you've been watching these stories and haven't hit like, commented, or subscribed, I'm honestly struggling to keep going. Engagement's dropping hard, and yeah, it matters more than you think. So if you want more raw, real stories like this, now's the time to show it. It genuinely helps. I'm not a writer. I don't post online unless I'm venting about overtime or begging for last-minute shift coverage. But what happened last week shattered something deep inside me, and I need to get it out. I'm a single dad. My daughter Mira is 6 years old. Stubborn, sweet, with a laugh that fills every corner of our tiny apartment. I work brutal hours at a logistics warehouse. Ever since her mom walked out 2 years ago, it's just been me and her. And honestly, she's my entire world. That night, I'd just finished an 18-hour double shift. My legs were shaking. My head felt like it was stuffed with wet cement. I'd asked my mom to stay over and watch Mira. She'd agreed, even though she complains every single time. When I walked through the door, the apartment was dark, silent. I didn't hear Mira's usual rush to greet me. No sleepy hugs. No, "Daddy, did you bring me a snack?" I peeked into her room and saw her tucked under the blanket, looking peaceful. I smiled, told myself I'd make her pancakes in the morning, then collapsed on the couch. I woke up a few hours later, past 6 a.m., with this tightness crushing my chest. Something felt wrong. I went to check on Mira again. She hadn't moved an inch. Her lips looked pale. Her skin felt colder than it should have. I whispered her name, shook her shoulder gently. Nothing. I called out louder, shook her harder. Her head lolled to the side. Still nothing. I ran to my mom, who was sipping coffee at the kitchen table like it was just another Tuesday. "Why isn't Mira waking up?" I asked, my voice already breaking. She sighed like I was bothering her. "She was being annoying," she said calmly. "I gave her some pills to shut her up. She kept bouncing around, wouldn't leave me alone." I stared at her. "What pills?" She waved her hand dismissively. "Just something to make her sleep. She needed to calm down." My sister, who'd randomly dropped by and was sitting on the couch scrolling through her phone, snorted. "She'll probably wake up," she said, like this was some hilarious joke. "And if she doesn't, maybe we'll finally have some peace around here." I don't remember grabbing my phone. I don't remember dialing 911, but I remember screaming. The ambulance came fast. They stabilized Mira and rushed her to the ER. I rode with her, never letting go of her hand. Her fingers were limp, her pulse barely there. I kept whispering, "Daddy's here. You're going to be okay." When the toxicology report came in, the doctor sat me down. What he told me made my blood run cold. He looked like he didn't want to say it. His mouth opened and closed twice before he finally spoke. "She's stable, but sedated. We reversed most of the effects. She's lucky you brought her in when you did." I felt a flicker of relief, short-lived. "Do you know what she was given?" he asked. I shook my head, fists clenched. "My mother said some pills to calm her down." He nodded grimly and handed me a printout. She was given a combination of zolpidem and diazepam, adult doses, multiple pills. I stared at the paper. I'm no pharmacist, but even I knew those weren't for kids. Hell, mixing them could knock me out cold, and Mira is 6. Tiny. Still sleeps with her teddy bear. Still asks for extra bedtime stories. She could have slipped into a coma, the doctor said quietly. She could have stopped breathing in her sleep. Something inside me cracked. When I got back to the waiting room, my mother was sitting there like she owned the place, flipping through a goddamn magazine. My sister had her AirPods in, still watching TikToks. I lost it. "You drugged my daughter," I said, loud enough for people to turn their heads. Mom didn't even flinch. "I did what you never do. Gave myself some peace. That child is too much. Always running her mouth, always needing something. My hands trembled. She's a child. She's supposed to be loud. She's supposed to need things. She rolled her eyes. You work all the time. She's already raising herself. I stepped back like she'd slapped me. And then my sister chimed in, smirking. Come on, she's not even hurt. This is you being dramatic again. Maybe if you weren't such a martyr about being a single dad? I called the police right there in the hospital lobby. When the officers showed up, my mom actually laughed. You're seriously pressing charges against me? I raised you. I wiped your ass. One of the officers pulled me aside. She'll be detained for questioning, he said. But if you want this to stick, you'll need to file a formal report. Toxicology will help. CPS may get involved too. My world was spinning. My daughter almost died. And these two women, my own blood, acted like she was just noise to be shut off. They had zero remorse. Later that night, after Mira woke up groggy and scared, she asked me a question that absolutely broke me. Daddy, did I do something bad? Grandma said I was a bad girl. I held her close, trying not to cry. No, baby. You were perfect. You are perfect. You did nothing wrong. She looked up at me with glassy eyes. Will Grandma be mad that I woke up? And just like that, I knew I could never let those women near her again. I didn't sleep that night. I sat beside Mira, watching her chest rise and fall with every breath. Every so often, she'd whimper in her sleep, flinch. Her fingers would twitch like she was still stuck in a dream she couldn't wake from. I couldn't stop replaying my mother's face. Cold, flat. The way she spoke about Mira like she was some stray animal ruining the furniture, and my sister with her snide smirk, as if what happened was a minor inconvenience, like Mira was the problem, not the pills they stuffed into her like a broken toy they didn't want to hear anymore. The next morning, I made some calls. First to the detective who'd taken the report. I gave him everything. The toxicology results, the ER statement, my own testimony. Then to a lawyer. A good one, recommended by a friend who'd dealt with CPS before. We started paperwork for a restraining order and emergency protective custody. Then I dug deeper. I went through the medicine cabinet at my mother's place with police permission. Found the pill bottles. Her name on them, prescribed months ago, way past the refill date. But here's the twist. The labels didn't match the pills inside. She'd been stockpiling prescriptions from multiple doctors, switching pharmacies, lying about symptoms. Classic drug-seeking behavior. A massive red flag. And now, with Mira as the victim, it became a criminal case. But that wasn't enough. I remembered something my sister had said months ago. She'd been bragging about a secret fund our mother had. A disability scam from years back where Mom had lied about being unable to work due to mental strain and was pulling government money while still working cash jobs under a different name. So I called an old friend from high school who works in fraud detection at the Social Security office. I gave him names, addresses, dates. It didn't take long before he called me back, whistling low. She's toast, man. Double identity, government theft, multiple false claims. You really want to push this? I said just 3 words. Burn it down. Within 2 days, investigators showed up at her door. Then CPS. Then the local news, because someone tipped them off. Not me, of course. Suddenly, the woman who mocked me for being dramatic was plastered on the 6 o'clock news as grandmother accused of drugging child with prescription sedatives. But I wasn't done. I cleaned out the shared family storage unit, which I'd paid for years. Sold everything that was mine. Took the rest to the dump. Changed the locks on my apartment. Changed my number. Blocked every single one of them. My sister tried calling from different phones, leaving voicemails with fake tears and threats mixed together. You're turning Mira against us. We're family. You'll regret this. You'll be alone one day and no one's going to care. She was right about one thing. I was alone now. But I finally realized being alone was better than being surrounded by people who don't care if your daughter dies as long as she's quiet. When Mira came home from the hospital, she was different, quieter, clingier. I started taking her to therapy. I took time off work. I let her sleep in my bed when she needed to. I told her the truth in a way a 6-year-old could understand. Sometimes people who are supposed to love us don't, and that's not your fault or mine. We lit a candle that night. I told her we were saying goodbye to people who hurt us. She held my hand tight and said, "Goodbye, Grandma. I don't want your scary hugs anymore." I kissed her forehead, and silently I said goodbye to the last pieces of my childhood, because now I wasn't someone's son. I was only Mira's dad, and that was enough. The courtroom smelled like bleach and paperwork, cold, sterile, nothing like the place you'd expect to bring something so deeply personal, like betrayal, like your child's life hanging in the balance. But there I was, sitting on one side of the aisle in a suit I hadn't worn in years. My lawyer beside me, calm but razor sharp, and, across from us, my mother, flanked by a public defender, her face locked in a permanent scowl. She didn't look like someone afraid of prison. She looked like someone who still thought she was in control. My sister didn't show. Too sick to attend, according to a message sent from a burner number that I ignored. But I saw the damage she tried to cause through the statements she submitted, all of them defending my mother. She was tired. She didn't mean it. Mira was always difficult. The judge read them aloud, then looked over the file again. A thick folder bloated with toxicology reports, medical records, pill bottle photos, insurance fraud allegations, and the psychiatric evaluation the court required of her. I watched the judge's eyes pause on Mira's photo, her school portrait, the one with the crooked bangs and missing front tooth, the photo I had to update while she recovered from the overdose because the old one haunted me. "Miss Dalton," the judge said, addressing my mother, "do you have anything you'd like to say before sentencing?" She stood up, her voice still calm as if this were a PTA meeting and not a felony hearing. "I raised 3 kids with no help. I've taken care of more than anyone ever took care of me. I didn't hurt Mira. I gave her something to help her sleep. That's all. People exaggerate these days. I didn't speak. I didn't blink. Because even now, even here, she wouldn't take responsibility. There was no remorse, no apology, just a warped sense of entitlement." The judge nodded once and spoke clearly. "You willfully administered controlled substances to a minor with malicious disregard for her well-being. Your previous actions regarding fraudulent claims have been independently verified. You are sentenced to 4 years in a state facility, followed by mandatory rehabilitation and 5 years of probation. A permanent protective order has been granted against you for both the minor and her legal guardian." That was it. No shouting, no gavel slam like in the movies, just a sentence delivered with the cold precision that I'd come to crave. Truth without noise. She was taken away in cuffs. She didn't even look at me. Outside the courthouse it was raining. Not the dramatic thunderstorm kind, just a light drizzle that blurred the streetlights and made everything quieter. I picked up Mira from my friend's house. She ran to me, backpack bouncing, pigtails uneven. She was smiling. "Did you finish the talking with the judge?" she asked. I nodded and picked her up. She pressed her forehead to mine. "Is the scary part over?" "Yes, baby, the scary part's over. It's been 8 months now. We moved to a smaller town, new school, new start. I work fewer shifts. I go to all her school events. She has a new therapist she adores. And last month, for the first time in nearly a year, she slept through the night without waking up crying. Sometimes she still asks, 'Will she come back?' And I tell her the same thing every time. She can't, and even if she could, Daddy would never let her near you again." We keep a framed photo on the kitchen wall now. Not of me or her or any relative. It's a drawing Mira made with crayons and glitter glue, a house with a big window, 2 stick figures holding hands inside. The caption she wrote in shaky letters says, "Just me and Daddy. Safe." Sometimes revenge isn't loud. Sometimes justice doesn't explode. Sometimes it's the sound of a door locking behind someone who thought they'd never face consequences. And the sound of a little girl's laughter in the next room. Finally free.